innovation and skills which is required to move beyond the scope of traditional classroom and to implement novel approaches to their teaching pedagogy. This faculty development program is an effort to inculcate research among the faculty and to train faculty members in the new knowledge and skills which is required to move beyond the scope of traditional classroom. I'm happy to share that we have 50 participants from different universities and from different disciplines as well. To name a few, we have participants from Sri Aurobindo College of Commerce and Management, Ludhiana, Lloyd Institute of Management and Technology, Noida, Chandigarh University, Punjab, Sakar Institute of Science and Technology, SISTEC, Bhopal, School of Branding and Advertising, NMIMS, Mumbai, Gopal Narayan Singh University, Bihar, and ABS Business School, Ghaziabad. We are very fortunate to have that inspiration with us who gave a new dimension to research and applying his vision in the form of organizing this intellectual event. He is none other than our Vice Chancellor Sir of Sri Vaishnava Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar. Now I invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir Dr. Upinder Dhar for his introductory remarks. Sir, please.
Good morning to all of you. Professor Guru Prasad, Dr. Damrekar, Dr. Santosh Dhar, all other heads of institutions, coordinator Monica Seni, all the delegates, faculty members from the university and from other institutions across the country. At the outset, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this very important program, that is the Faculty Development Program. Earlier, institutions used to organize faculty development programs whenever it was felt that, well, it should be done at least once in a while, it should be done. But with NEP 2020, now with NEP 2020, it is mandatory. There is clear emphasis on continuous faculty development in the National Education Policy 2020. It is to be, the policy is to be implemented by 2035. Therefore, it becomes necessary for all the faculty members to know what is to be done, what are the changes that are going to take place. We as teachers are supposed to do what? You see, when we talk of development, that covers all this, why we are doing this program, then what we need to know, and how we need to take the steps. For instance, national education policy. See, there are many firsts which are happening in the country. National education policy advocates that all educational institutions should be classified into 3 categories over the period of time, which is not so at present. At present, we have very wide variety of institutions. For example, take universities only. We have central universities, state universities, open universities, affiliating universities, residential universities, and so on. Public universities, private universities, deemed to be universities. So all this variety needs to be reduced. And all institutions, and today we are having 1,018 universities in the country. When we started this journey immediately after independence in 1947, that time we had just 20 universities. But today we have come a long way, 1,000 plus universities. Similarly, that time there were hardly 1,500, 1,200 to 1,500 colleges in the country. But today, we have around 50,000 colleges in the country. So number has increased, of course. But then quality also has a very wide range. On one hand, we have world-class institutions in the sense which can be compared to best of the best. Very few. But at the same time, on the other end of the continuum, there are institutions which can't be compared with any standard institutions. For example, in rural areas, there are institutions where the total enrollment is 100. And that too, there is no infrastructure, faculty is not available, and so on and so forth. So our country is very vast, but there are certain problems. That is why national education policy, to make it more smooth, national education policy advocates that all institutions across the country are to be classified into 3 categories. First category, which will be happening first time in the country, that is research intensive universities. Similarly, teaching universities and autonomous degree granting colleges, which will be happening for the first time in India. Autonomous colleges are already there, but we don't have degree granting colleges. So now we'll be having autonomous degree colleges as well. So you'll be knowing in more detail as we will have sessions after sessions. You will know more details about these 3 types of institutions. What is expected in first category, then second category, and third category. As faculty, how you need to be prepared. What is expected from a teacher. Similarly, curriculum development. Again, curriculum development has to be a continuous process. You see, earlier also, traditional also, we have been doing developing curriculum, but then the thumb rule used to be, say, around 3 years, we should upgrade the syllabi. Even that was not happening in many old universities. It would take years. I remember in 2000, in the year 2000, I had gone for the accreditation of a well-known institution in the country. And I was shocked to find that the syllabus was not revised for 18 years, 18. So because of that problem, curriculum development needs to be paid special attention. Now here also composition will not be exactly what we used to have so far. So how composition is going to change so far as the curriculum part is concerned, that we need to learn as teachers. That's why this FDP. Similarly, pedagogy, teaching methodology, pedagogy needs to change. Say, for example, now formally, gamification has been introduced. How to teach by using certain games, educational games. In our management disciplines, cases we have been using, but besides cases, gamification will also be used. So there are various methods of teaching which have been advocated, which have been prescribed, which we need to use besides the traditional lecture method. Same be methods of assessment, how to assess a student, continuous assessment, how to ensure. So there are certain things which we have already been doing. So a good part here is that what has been proposed or what has been recommended by this NEP 2020, to a great extent, certain things were already practiced in good business schools in the country. It's a continuous assessment, continuous evaluation. Another new concept that is new for us is multiple entry, multiple exit. So it is going to give a lot of challenge. Now, how to face that challenge? Ultimately, it is the teachers, the faculty who are in the forefront. How to face that challenge? How should it be done? Multiple entry, multiple exit. Similarly, ABC, Academic Bank of Credits. Again, this is a new concept for us. Like a savings bank account, every student will have an account with the centrally controlled deposit, which is called academic bank of credits, and the student can use those credits for any degree, any certificate, anywhere, wherever eligible. Then first time we will have two parallel graduations. 3-year has already been there. Say BBA, we used to have 3 years, BSc 3 years, BCom 3 years, but now parallelly we will have 4 years undergraduate degrees also. Those who will be doing 4 years undergraduate degree, they need not to go for 2 years master's degree. They can go for 1 year master degree. Again, something new, because traditionally we used to have 2 years master's degree, but now both will be parallel. 2 years for those who will be doing 3 years graduation, 1 year for those who will be doing 4 years graduation. Not only that, even after doing 4 years of graduation with research as major in the 4th year, that is the say BBA honors or BSc honors, one can straightway register for PhD. Again, something new that was not there in our country. Research is being encouraged. Research has to be, say, all of you know, because all of you are teachers, all of your faculty already teaching, already in the profession. So you must be knowing that every year world university rankings are released. And even if we have more than 1,000 universities, including IITs, IIMs, not even a single institution appears in the top 100, not even top 200. Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore appears, but that also in the bracket of 250 to 300. And then other IITs and other institutions. So what is the concern? Concern, where are we lacking? What our analysis, which our analysis has appeared so far? It has been found that we get lesser weightage, lesser marks, with lesser score in research. That is why research is another area which is very significantly, very greatly emphasized in National Education Policy 2020. Even one National Research Foundation is being established to aid, to support, irrespective of the type of institution, whether it is a self-financed institution or a public institution. It will be done on merit. Financial support will be given on merit. So you'll be knowing these things as sessions will go on. So you'll know more about research and also innovations. We need to innovate. And innovation can't happen without research. So again, that's another area you will be having full sessions on these aspects of the NEP 2020. So this has made it very important, very essential to have continuous faculty development, so that people know what is required to be done, how it is to be done, so that there is more clarity. As you'll be attending session after session during this workshop, you will have more clarity. But then again, it doesn't end there. It has to be a continuous faculty development, continuous. It is mandatory now. So with these words, I wish you all the best and happy learning during this FDP 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thought-provoking address. This is the end of our introductory session. We will be starting the session immediately after completing this introductory session. Now we will start with our first session. Before we start our session, I request all the participants to use the chat box for any query, or you can raise your hand to ask any question at the end of the deliberation only. We are having two sessions. One is pre-lunch and the post-lunch session. So the topic of the first session is New Education Policy 2020 with the focus on the research and innovation, and the resource person is Dr. Santosh Dhar. I feel privileged and honored to introduce Madam Dhar in front of you. Dr. Santosh Dhar is a Dean Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research at Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. She has been engaged in teaching, research, corporate training and consultancy for the last 42 years. She has widely published her work and has more than 370 publications to her credit. Her earlier assignments have been Professor Sri Vaishnav Institute of Management, Indore, Professor Amity Business School, Amity University, Greater Noida Campus, Professor Institute of Management and Dean Research, J.K. Lakshmipat University, Jaipur, Senior Professor OBHR, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Jaipur, Professor and Chairperson, Institute of Management, Nirma University, Ahmedabad, and guest faculty at IIM Kolkata and MICA, Ahmedabad. Many research scholars have been awarded PhD degree under her supervision. She has designed and conducted management development programs for the executives of several business houses such as Grazim Industries, JK Tyre, Bridgestone, Hindustan Motors, ONGC and GAIL to name a few. She has been on the panel of reviewers of Oxford University Press and Tata McGraw-Hill. She was the managing editor of Prestige Journal of Management and Research and Prestige Research Abstracts. She has been chairperson of Indian Society for Training and Development Indore and Jaipur chapters and was on the editorial board of Indian Journal of Training and Development. She has presented papers in several national and international conferences, seminars, and had the opportunity to visit Kathmandu, Bangkok, Beijing, Hong Kong, Seoul, Dubai, Poland, and United States in connection with various professional and academic assignments. Dr. Dhar had coordinated the implementation of a project on the empowerment of women through enterprise in North India, which was funded by Canadian International Development Agency. She has completed the research projects on problems of women trainers in India and quality of work life as a determinant of mental health in pharmaceutical industry. She has also been principal investigator for Asian Development Bank funded and Rajasthan government sponsored RUIDP consultancy project on capacity building of ULBs of different towns of Rajasthan. She has twice been chairperson of Indian Society for Training and Development Jaipur and Indore chapter and chairperson of the Best Paper Award of the Indian Society for Training and Development, New Delhi. Dr. Dhar was conferred National Fellowship for her contribution to HR by Indian Society for Training and Development in 2006 and 7. She is a life member of Indian Society for Training and Development, National Human Resource Development Network, and Indian Society for Technical Education. Now I invite Madam Dhar for her deliberation. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Monica. And good morning to all the participants. Now, as has been said in the introductory remarks by Honorable Vice Chancellor, this NEP 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century that replaces the 34-year-old National Policy on Education, 1986. The policy is built on the foundational pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Well, the aim is to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, and multidisciplinary for bringing out the unique capabilities of each student. Now, knowledge creation and research are critical in growing and sustaining a large and vibrant economy, uplifting society, and continuously inspiring a nation to achieve even greater heights. It's true that India in 2020 does not have any world-class research universities. It does not have several outstanding research institutes in various scientific fields, but it also has some excellent technology and management institutions like the Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Management, and a few outstanding public institutions such as Indian Institute of Science and some excellent private initiatives such as Manipal, Ashoka, and few others. But none of these are comprehensive research universities that can compare with the best universities globally or which are recognized by any of the global higher education rankings. So without question, India needs some world-class research universities. India has an expanding economy and plays an increasing important role in global affairs. Indian brain power, as you know, plays a key role in Silicon Valley in the United States, and the Indians can be found at the top ranks of universities around the world. But India is not yet a scientific or research power. For India to be fully successful as a global scientific and intellectual force, it needs research universities. If you go just back in the history, India has been, a knowledge base. If you go back in the history, Nalanda University and other universities, Takshila, Nalanda, they used to be the strong knowledge bases. And if in modern, you see United States, Germany, Israel, South Korea, and Japan, they are now the strong knowledge societies that they have attained intellectual and material wealth in large parts through celebrated and fundamental contributions to new knowledge in the realm of science, arts, language, and culture, and have not simply uplifted their society, their own civilizations, but others around the world. Let me share a few slides with you. Just I think the slides are clear. Is it?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Now, as I said, some of the most prosperous civilization, as an earlier, India, Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Greece. And if you look at the modern era, such as United States, Germany, Israel, South Korea, and Japan, they are now strong knowledge societies. Now, as I said, these countries have attained intellectual and material wealth, and it are not upliftment for their own civilization, but have in fact contributed all over the world across the globe. But what do you need for this kind of system? A robust ecosystem of research is perhaps the most important than ever with the rapid changes occurring in the world today in the realm of climate change, population dynamics, management, biotechnology, and expanding digital marketplace, and the rise of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now, keeping all these things in mind, the dynamic technological changes and the other environmental changes that are happening, to keep in pace with them, are we able to do something towards the research? Where does our country stand for? Where is it? So therefore, if India is to become a leader in these areas, a truly achieve potential of its vast talent pool to again become a leading knowledge society in the coming years and decades, the nation will require a significant expansion of research capabilities and up across the discipline. It's not only in one discipline. It is across the discipline. Maybe in social sciences, maybe in science, technology, wherever. In each and every field, India needs to upgrade itself in terms of the research and innovation. Today, the criticality of research is more than ever before for economic, intellectual, societal, environmental, technological, health, and progress of a nation. Now, finally, whenever you are doing any research, what is the aim of the research? Somewhere, whatever you have researched upon, whatever are the outcomes of the research, whatever innovations you have done, finally, it has to contribute. It has for the betterment of the society. It is for the betterment of the quality of life. It is betterment of the betterment and the upliftment of the society. So therefore, the basic aim of the research, that is the outcome of the research, has to be applicable in terms of making the society better. So this is when you are making the society better, so you are talking about the progress of the nation. Now we know that research is very important. If you have to grow, if you have to make your society a better society, a growing nation, then research is very important. So despite we know that it is very critical to have research, to do research and to come out with the research outcomes that have applicability, the research and innovation investment in India is at the current time only 0.69% of the GDP as compared to 2.8% in the United States of America, 4.3% in Israel, and 4.2% in South Korea. What does that mean? That means right now we are not spending so much on the research as is required. The funds which are required to be invested for research that are, in a way, when you are spending money, it's an investment which you are doing for the research. Investment which is going to give you back. So this investment is just points, if we are spending just 0.69%. So if you are looking at this, and if you compare with 2.8% of United States and 4.3% in Israel and 4.2% in South Korea, you can make out for yourself, that how less, where are we standing? So if we are not spending, so therefore we need to look into it. We need to put into more investment in terms of putting more funds for the research. Now, the societal challenges that India needs to address today are access for all its citizens to clean drinking water and sanitation, quality education and healthcare, improved transportation, air quality, energy and infrastructure. So if you look at all these, this is our people, each one of us, every citizen doesn't have access to clean drinking water or sanitation or quality education. Even healthcare is not up to the mark everywhere. This doesn't mean that we don't have. We have, but does it suffice for the population which we have? Does each one of us have access to proper health care? Does everybody afford to have the access to the quality health care? Do people afford? Affordability, not a criteria. To have the good health care, improved transportation, air quality, energy and infrastructure. Do we have enough infrastructure? So when we are talking about technological advancements, when we are talking these days when digitization and digitalization, do we have enough infrastructure for that? Do we have quality infrastructure so that we can go ahead in that? So for that, that means we have in India, we have certain challenges which other countries may not have. There you may find the infrastructure is the best infrastructure. Best in the sense, I don't say that anything can be the best, but a good infrastructure. If when you compare it with our country, we say we are lagging behind, much behind the kind of infrastructure when you say in the advanced countries. So if you don't have an infrastructure, proper infrastructure, can you really contribute to the quality research, or there somewhere you find your hands are tied up? So therefore, what is required? This will require the implementation of approaches and solutions that are not only informed by top-notch science and technology, but are also rooted in a deep understanding of the social sciences and humanities and the various socio-cultural environmental dimensions of the nation. So therefore, whenever you are doing any research, so when we are talking that it has to be, fruitful to the society, it has to be applicable in the sense that the society should be benefited from this. So in that case, what do you need? You need to also know the social, cultural environment and the other dimensions, because they may be different from one country to another. So therefore, you need to see same problem from the different perspectives. So therefore, where we look for interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach in research. So where you see a problem, an issue from different perspectives and how that can be solved. Therefore, in NEP, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research is encouraged. Because if you're just looking from one perspective only, and if you are looking from the perspective, if you are not taking the socio-cultural dimension into consideration, then it will not be, feasible in the sense that it will not somehow add to the quality of life for which you are, of the society to which you are looking forward. So it is, knowledge is there, of course. You say that if you are knowledgeable, you are really going to develop, you are going to contribute to the vibrant economy. You are going to really inspire the nation and lead the nation to the greater heights. But then you have to also keep it in mind that how do you take all the environmental dimensions, socio-cultural dimension, humanities, other social sciences into consideration while you are going for research. So therefore, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary research is encouraged. So this is what I was just saying. Facing and addressing these challenges will require high quality interdisciplinary research across fields that must be done in India. So this is what is the requirement now. If you want to really grow, if you are going to become an inspiring nation, and if you are going to become a vibrant economy, you have to take into consideration interdisciplinary research. As I said, before this, I just said that while what is applicable in West may not be applicable to us. So the research cannot simply be imported. The ability to conduct one's own research or enables a country to much more easily import and adapt relevant research from abroad. Now, it is not simply somebody is doing research in West, and so you are just completely importing. One has the, and this is what is happening. Something is happening outside, and we just take it and just implement it. No, it has to be. You cannot import it. You will be able to understand in a much better way if you are capable of doing your own research, and then you can adapt. बट पहले तो आपके पास अपना होना चाहिए ना, फिर बाद में आप दूसरों का अडेप्ट करेंगे. पूरा उनका लेंगे तो whether it is feasible for you or not, because you have to, whatever is applicable over there, it may not be applicable here. So you have to keep it in mind, the socio-economic scenario also in mind while you are importing the research. Importing any new high quality research from other countries. Importing is all right, adapting is all right, but while you are adapting, what are you doing? You are trying to put it in your context. Your context is equally important as the research is. So contextualizing the research in your area, in your socio-economic scenario is equally important. Now, furthermore, in addition to their value in solutions to societal problems, any country's identity, upliftment, spiritual, intellectual satisfaction and creativity is also attained in a major way through its history, art, language, and culture. Research in the arts and humanities, along with innovations in the sciences and social sciences, are therefore extremely important for the progress and enlightened nature of a nation. Yesterday, I was just watching one program where they had interviewed one lady, her name is, I'm not getting, some Shri करके, अभी उसको Booker Award मिला है. So she has written a novel, रेत की समाधि. उसपे उसे she got a Booker's award. And then when she was talked about, she was asked that, and basically her discipline is English. And then she was asked that why did you write? Why didn't you write in English? And now you have written all the novels she has been writing. She's a short story writer also. And now you are writing in a language जिसमें आपने इतनी महारत हासिल नहीं की है. And her answer was that I am not against writing in English. All languages are good, and there is also literature. But when we have such a rich culture of ours in India, so why can't we write? Why can't we scan? Why can't we explore our own literature? And rather than just looking towards the West. So what I'm trying to tell, he says that we have our own language, we have our own history. So whatever research we do, let it be in that context. So why can't it be? That is where your own country's identity and upliftment comes into the existence. Research in the arts and humanities, along with innovations in the science and social sciences, are therefore extremely important for progress and enlightening nature of the nation. When you are taking all these things of your society into consideration while further proceeding, then it is real enlightenment of the nature. आप बात करेंगे किसी और जगह की जिसके साथ मैं कनेक्ट ही नहीं कर पा रही हूँ. So the curiosity which is engendered at the college level or the school level, where the child, where in NEP we say that the orientation has to be from the very beginning. where you orient the child with the curiosity, when you orient him with the very thing कि अगर ये है तो ऐसा क्यों है, so जो रिसर्च को जानने की, उस बात को निकालने की, जो उसमें वो इंक्विजिटिवनेस आप जगाएंगे, लेकिन वो तो तभी होगा ना जब वो अपने आप को किसी चीज के साथ रिलेट कर पाएगा. अगर आप ऑल ऑफ ए सडन उसको उस चीज के बारे में बताएं जिसके साथ वो रिलेट ही नहीं कर पाया, तो आप उसमें वो inquisitiveness nahi you will not be able to orient him towards the inquisitiveness which you want to arouse in him. Then you will not be able to put what is the aim of NEP. So therefore, research and innovation at the education institutions in India, particularly those that are engaged in higher education, is critical. Evidence from the world's best universities throughout history shows that the best teaching and learning processes at the higher education level occur in environments where there is also a strong culture of research and knowledge creation. Conversely, much of the very best research in the world has occurred in the multidisciplinary university settings. Now, what is he saying? That you have enough of evidence that best universities are those where you have a strong culture of knowledge, a strong culture of research and knowledge creation. Now you are doing knowledge, you are doing research, you are creating knowledge. This knowledge is further leads to further research, then research leading to knowledge, and therefore we say that in such universities, teaching and learning processes are at a much higher scale than as compared to those universities where you don't have much of research, or there is not a culture of research or knowledge creation. Conversely, much of the very best research in the world has occurred in multidisciplinary university setting. Multidisciplinary, where you are taking research, where you are taking many disciplines together to address to one problem. Now, India has a long historical tradition of research and knowledge creation in disciplines ranging from science and mathematics to art and literature to phonetics and language to medicine and agriculture. Now, if you look the historical tradition of research, there have been, as I mentioned, there have been universities where they were the seat of knowledge. People from other countries would visit there. People from other countries would come there, have their study over there, and go back to their countries. So India had the, if you have mathematics, mein, science, mein, you have n number of names whose, who are every time referred to. This needs to be further strengthened to make India lead research and innovation in the 21st century as a strong and enlightened knowledge society and one of the 3 largest economies in the world. Now, all right, what has been the past? But right now, as was said in the introductory remarks, that India's universities nowhere appear in the first 200 list of, forget about the 100, even not in 200. So in spite of the fact we have good educational institutions here, as I said, we have IITs, IIMs, but yet they don't appear in the list of those 200 universities or research or institutions of research. So therefore, what do we need to do? This needs to be further strengthened to make India lead research and innovation in the 21st century as a strong and enlightened knowledge society and one of the 3 largest economies in the world. as I said in the beginning, that we don't have world-class research universities, but then this is also true that India has an expanding, economy, and this is also true that India's brain is working in United States, and even brains, even in Silicon Valley, or you can find it in the universities also. But then why do we don't have it here? If Indians have the capability, then why can't we have it here? So that is a thing which we need to think about. We need to think about, and NEP is, that is what, how it promotes that if India, we have the potentials, but then why can't we appear in the top rankings? Thus, this NEP policy envisions a comprehensive approach to transforming the quality and quantity of research in India. This includes definitive shifts in school education to a more play and discovery-based style of learning with emphasis on scientific method and critical thinking. Now, जैसे मैंने भी आपको बताया कि quality and quantity of research. All of you are academicians, most of you are academicians. Now, these days, we are also talking about कि भी आपकी publications कहाँ पर publish हुई है, UGC care में है, Scopus में है कि नहीं है, open source का allowed नहीं है. So when we are talking about all this, or आपके peer reviewed journal में publication है, then only it will be considered, otherwise it will not be considered. What is the impact factor? What is the edge factor? Now, all this is for what? All this is for improving the quality of research. Quality of research, that means it is not just if it gets published. Finally, whenever you do any research, whenever you do any kind of research, what do? You want to disseminate it. After all, जो आपकी findings है उसको तो आप disseminate करेंगे ना. तो वो dissemination कैसे होगा? वो dissemination through आपके publication से होगा. Now publication से होगा, लेकिन ये publication आप कहाँ पर करेंगे? How do I know that the research which you have done is authentic? How do I accept the research which you have done is credible? How do I, depend on your credibility? So therefore, it has been said, it is, as UGC has said, that it has to be, only then the publication will get due recognition if you have it in UGC Care Journal, or if you have in Scopus Index, or if you have, peer review journal, and then they have given the list of journals. Now, those journals are taken to be as authentic source of information which you are providing, the knowledge which you have generated through your research, and then you are putting it in a journal, and the other person who's referring to that journal, he takes it as authentic source of information. But as unfortunately, many times you pay, they ask you for a money, you pay and you publish it. And you say that this is my publication. But that is not an authentic source where you are publishing. That is not the way you need to publish. So what I'm trying to tell you here is the quality. How do you ensure that body of knowledge which you have generated through research, where it is to be published. So therefore, that has to be published only in good journals, peer-reviewed journals, UGC peer journals with good impact factor. Many a times, once I saw a gentleman, he was saying, well, he was just talking about, about the good publications, but after he finished the whole thing, then in the end he said, but what about those which cannot be published? So for that, you pay us and we will publish you. So don't get lured by such people. So whenever you publish, you look for good journals where your knowledge can be disseminated, the knowledge which you have generated can be generated. Another is the quantity. It's true that we don't have a large number of researchers, but it is also true, it's not that we don't have any researchers. We have good institutions, good research are going on, good project works are going on, but the number is very less. So therefore, one is the quality, another is the quantity. In quality, we have to ensure that the knowledge which we have generated, it is disseminated through proper channels, proper channel in the sense through quality publication, and the quantity in terms of that we need to have more projects, we need to have more research projects, we need to work for more researchers and increase in so that the quantity also gets increased. Now, this is all right. Now, this is about the schools that this includes career counseling in school towards identifying student interests and talents, promoting research in universities, the multidisciplinary nature of all HEIs, and the emphasis on holistic education, the inclusion of research and internships in the undergraduate curriculum, faculty career management systems that give weightage to research, and the governance and the regulatory changes that encourage an environment of research and innovation. Now, for instance, when I was just saying that Indians are doing very well in the other universities outside India, that means we have the potential. They are working in different research organizations and that they are proving their mettle. But does that mean that in India, we don't have enough good infrastructure? So therefore, NEP also wants that there should be universities where the research infrastructure can be developed so that the people can really go for, will be encouraged towards research and innovation. Now, in NEP, earlier we used to have, before NEP, a person who would be having engineering, he would just, there was, tight-knit compartments where he would, for 4 years, he would do engineering and he would take the subjects from the engineering only. Right? All the subjects right from first semester till the last semester, when he would leave the institution, all things were, all around, they were focused on the engineering subjects only. So whenever he would come out, he would be an engineer having, in fact, no knowledge about the other disciplines because he had studied only engineering subjects. But under NEP now, we have that every semester he can have subjects from the other disciplines also. It's not that if he's an engineering doing and he will just study. An engineering student can have some, say, humanities, he can have something from, say, he can also take a subject from literature, depending upon his interest. He can take a subject from psychology. He can take a subject from, say, political science. Now, from the semester which he comes in, till he leaves, he doesn't know only about the engineering specific subjects, but he also has a knowledge about the other subjects also, because they are credit courses and they are part of their curriculum. So he can, in one semester, he can study psychology, in another semester, he can study fine arts, in some other he may, or a student from who is doing English literature, he can take a subject. If he has some inclination, interest, he may take some subject from engineering, he may take some subject from management. So when we are talking about, that higher education institutions, in higher education institution, there is a emphasis on the holistic education. Now, holistic education is that he can have a input from other subjects other than where he's doing his primary degree. So he will, have a perspective. He can have a perspective of other disciplines also. So that is what is so special of NEP. Earlier, it was not like that. One who would do humanities, he will confine to humanities only. One who would do fine arts, he would confine to fine arts only. One who would do management, he would confine to management only. One who would do architecture, he would confine to architecture only. But here, now with NEP, you have from, in his curriculum, there is space for the general electives also, which may be from other disciplines. So therefore, it's not that if a student is doing engineering, he doesn't, psychology is, something exclusive, which he doesn't understand anything about, but he has studied, if he has studied it, he can have a perspective of psychology also. So that is how NEP is helping the students to have the holistic education, and institutions of higher learning have to implement it in their curriculum. Now, all these aspects are extremely critical for developing research mindset in the country. All right. Now, to build on these various elements in a synergistic manner and to thereby truly grow and catalyze quality research in the nation, this policy envisions the establishment of National Research Foundation. Now, as I said in the beginning, is it that we don't have that environment, that research ecosystem in our country? That's why we have been lagging in research, which is conversely how other countries could do. It's not that we don't have the potential in terms of the capabilities. No, we do have. If our people can do wonders, can show their mettle in other countries, why can't they do it in our own country? Is it because the research ecosystem in the country is not favorable? How do we change the mindset? Is it the mindset of our people is somewhere lagging behind? So therefore, NEP has to catalyze quality research, to see that the ecosystem works well, facilitates well our people, so that we can produce both quality and the quantity of research, and be somewhere it's the global leaders, or not, if not globally, but somewhere we turn up in the rankings So National Research Foundation has been established. The overarching goal of NRF, National Research Foundation, will be to enable a culture of research to permeate through our universities. So now how they are going to help our universities, how these NRF is going to help the universities to develop a research culture, to facilitate, to develop such culture, such ecosystem in the universities so that people come forward, they do the research. In a way, that kind of ambience is created in the universities so that people's mindset changes and they come forward for quality research. Now, in particular, the NRF will provide a reliable base of merit-based but equitable peer-reviewed research funding, helping to develop a culture of research in the country through suitable incentives for and the recognition of outstanding research. It will undertake major initiatives to seed and grow research at state universities and other public institutions where research capability is currently limited. The NRF will competitively fund research in all disciplines. Now, earlier it used to be the discipline specific. But now some institutions would be funding for social sciences. Some would be doing it for science and technology. But now, under NEP, NRF will be funding in all disciplines. Irrespective of the disciplines, the funds are available, but then you have to compete in the sense that is what is called competitively. Now, merit-based but equitable peer-reviewed research funding, helping to develop a culture of research in the country through suitable incentives for and recognition of outstanding research. Now, funding, when I'm saying funding, 5 projects have been proposed, but out of 5 out of 5 proposals, only 3 may be acceptable. That will be funded. If you are going with a proposal, you will get it provided it is quality. It's not anybody who is preparing and he will get it. No, that is why it's called peer reviewed. It will be reviewed. Many times it so happens that you have appeared, you have started, but in some universities, the NR, they will be providing them some, you have many of you may be aware about the, you have the university provides the seed money, small money fund with which you can start the research. And later on, if you apply to these authorities, NRF, then you may get the amount which is really required for the research. So to start with, but the universities should have such funds which they can give as a seed money to start with. You start, you have incubation setups in the university where you start the research, and the initial money is funded by the university. University gives you the seed money, but later on the bigger amount which when you apply and whatever work you have done, small work, and the project which you are be sharing with NRF, you will get the amount. Successful research will be recognized and where relevant implemented through close linkages with governmental agencies as well as with industry and private philanthropic organizations. Now, successful research, you have done it. But then again, you have come, you have done a research. Now comes the applicability of the research. So you should have linkage with the industry, and that is what NRF can do. Institutions that currently fund research at some level, such as Department of Science and Technology, that is DST, Department of Atomic Energy, that is DAE, Department of Biotechnology, DBT, Indian Council for Agricultural Research, ICAR, Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, Indian Council of Historical Research, ICHR, and University Grants Commission, UGC, as well as various private and philanthropic organizations will continue to independently fund research according to their priorities and their needs. Now, NRF will be there, but besides this, these institutions are already existing. DST is also there, DAE is also there, DBT. These are already existing, as well as other some philanthropic organizations who want to encourage. So some organizations come forward who would give you the money, but then they ask for the proposals which you are supposed to send them. They will screen them. Then you will be called for the presentation. There was in Premji Foundation had, I think 2 years back, it had come with some research fundings for the projects, and they had called for the projects which they would be funding exclusively. So these institutions are there. Now, what is this? When we are talking about these institutions are the facilitating organizations, which will funding organizations, which will help you if you come with the research proposals, but then you have to compete there. And if the proposal is found good, it's not that I apply for a proposal and then it is given to me. It's not like that. I have to prove that my proposal has to be presented, and then the proposal should have the potential to somewhere being useful to the society. It should be a quality research, and it should have some implications for the society, for the quality of life of the society. To your research must have. First is why you are doing research. The question of why. So for that, when you are identifying an issue, you have to say why you are doing. You are coming with a proposal, but then you have to rationalize why. This why is very important, why you are doing research. When you have identified a problem, okay, you have identified a problem, then you have answered your why you are doing this research. And then when you finish when you are coming out the whatever research you have come out with, and when you have come out with the body of knowledge, you need to answer, you need to know implications of your research, for whom this research is going to be useful, who's going to get benefited from this research. So therefore, whenever you apply with a proposal to these institutions, so these institutions also look in terms of the implications, how it would be. So the institution is giving you a huge sum of money. It is funding you. So, but this fund has the proper utility in terms of the outcomes which you have come with, and that outcome has to be for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the nation. Now, however, NRF will carefully coordinate with other funding agencies and will work with science, engineering, and other academies to ensure synergy of purpose and avoid duplication of efforts. Now, if I just go back to this, say you have submitted a project to DST, and what will be, and then similar project you may have, submitted to say ICAR, somewhere similar. Now, what is the role of NRF? NRF will carefully coordinate with other funding agencies and will work with science, engineering, and other academies to ensure synergy of purpose and avoid duplication of efforts. Because if you are taking funds, moreover, there should not be the similar things, so there will be duplication of the efforts. So that way, the money which is being given to you, it is judiciously utilized. That is the main objective of NRF, that will coordinate. Right? The NRF will be governed independently of the government by a rotating board of governors consisting of very best researchers and innovators across the fields. As I said, it will include all the disciplines. It will not be discipline specific. Earlier, the ones which I referred to, this is Department of Science and Technology, or DAE, or DBT, or ICAR, ICHR. Now these are, discipline specific. Say Department of Biotechnology, it will go for if you are applying for a project in biotechnology. But NRF will have the researchers and innovators across the fields, because finally they will not be giving in particular discipline. They will be irrespective of the discipline, that is where they will be taking care of. The primary activities of NRF will be to fund competitive, peer-reviewed grant proposals of all types and across all the disciplines. As I said, it will be fund competitive, peer-reviewed grant proposals of all types and across all disciplines. Now here, types, I mean, it can be very long projects, where you need huge funding. There can be small ones, say one who can finish within 1 year. So the funding will be small, but they will take care of all. Then seed, grow, and facilitate research at academic institutions. Now, what do I mean to seed? Seed, as I said, a seed money. What do we mean by seed money? A small amount of money, a small fund which is given to start with an idea. Say, for instance, you want to go in for some innovation. Now, for that, you need, to come out with a design. So in incubation setups, small amount is given to seed. Then see how does it work. Grow and facilitate research at academic institutions, particularly at universities and colleges where research is currently in a nascent stage, through mentoring of such institutions. Now, NRF will facilitate the colleges and the universities where research is currently in a nascent stage. Now, normally, जो हमारा जो traditional educational setup है, we do 12th, then we go to college, we do graduation, then we go to the university or affiliated institution where we do the post-graduation, and after post-graduation, people may go in for research. This is the traditional route which we have been following. Now in NEP, how have they differentiated to encourage the research? What have they done? They have, the first thing what they have done is at undergraduate level. At undergraduate level, they have said now there can be undergraduations either at 3 years as we have been having, or it can be 4 years. Now, if you are having 3 years, that means you have the first year, second year, and third year, or the 6 semesters. Then you can go for post-graduation, and then if you want of 2 years, and then you can go for the research. Now, in NEP, you have undergraduation at 4 years. Is choice of the candidate. He can have graduation of 4 years. Then he can 1 year post-graduation, and then he can go for research. Or he can have 4 years of graduation, and then he can go directly to research. Now, how this 3 years is different from the 4 years? 3 years he will be studying graduation as usual, but the 4th year will be research intensive, where you are going to orient him exclusively for research. So, in a way, 3 years, 4th year is your orientation, the research, and directly you can go for research. In between, you don't have to wait for 2 years to do the post-graduation. You can skip post-graduation. But there are filters that the student has to have this much of CGPA, only then he can pursue, or he doesn't have to have any backlog in the sense of 80 KT or something like that. Only then he can go. What we are trying to understand here, the emphasis on the research. Emphasis of the research and facilitating the students for going, taking up research. Now, 4th year, the graduation, which he does 3 years, and the 4th year where he's completely oriented towards research. And then it is his choice. He may go for 1 year post-graduation, or he may directly go for research. Now, see the time which has been here lessened, because from graduation you can go directly to research. And once he goes for graduation, and then he can start. So more time he can put it in the research and come up with the quality. And the inquisitiveness and the orientation in the 4th year when he's oriented towards research. But after all, who is going to orient him? The faculty is going to orient. But does faculty for themselves have the research orientation so that they can orient their candidates for research? That is, for that we have to have the research-ready faculty. Research-ready faculty. So NRF will act as a liaison between researchers and relevant branches of government as well as industry, so that research scholars are constantly made aware of the most urgent national research issues, and so that policymakers are constantly made aware of the latest research breakthroughs, so as to allow breakthroughs to be optimally brought into policy or implementation. Now, as I said, you have come out with a good research outcome. But now, how you are going to access the policy makers. So it is the job of the NRF to make, to liaison between researchers and the relevant branches of the government in terms of the policy makers, and so that there is implementation happen. It doesn't remain at the report stage only, where you have made the report, submitted it, got the fund, and the report is on the shelf. So it doesn't have to be what you call wastage of resources in terms of the fund that has been given, the time which the scholars has spent, and the other things which were required. It will be the efforts that were put. So the best part of it is that NRF is there as a liaising between the researcher and the bodies that need to know about the outcomes for the implementation. So unless it is implemented, it has no meaning. It will remain on the shelf, and over the period of time, one may forget what has been done. So another point which is very important is recognize outstanding research and progress. So NRF will also recognize outstanding research and how over the years, what has been the progress, what has been the outcome in terms of the quality and in terms of the quantity. Now, as I said, that NRF is going to facilitate. That's why under this NEP, NRF has been established for developing a proper ecosystem for research, to change the, to help facilitate the initiatives, to initiate the academic networks, and one is the academic, not at the national level, but at the global level also. It can help the research institutions to come forward and for dissemination and further liaising. NRF is there to help. Now, about the research universities, which we say, if you look at this, I was just going through I came across an article where it says that India has got the second largest student enrollment in the world, but a poorly articulated academic system. So therefore, what is most important is that we have to recognize the importance of research universities, and just see how we can orient our students towards research. How do we, make them change their mindset? Now, for changing the mindset, we have to change the mindset of the faculty also, because making them research oriented, it is a responsibility of the faculty. We all said done, the students should do good research, the students should be, we should change the mindset of the students, we should help them out, we should facilitate them. That is fine, because after all, at the college level or at the university level, the student looks towards the teacher for all these such of activities. So for that, their teachers themselves need to be having the flair for the research. Now, there have been, the NEP suggests that about 100 universities can be identified as research universities in the near future. And these universities will focus strongly on research and doctoral programs, in addition to having high quality education at bachelor's and master's degree levels. And if we have 1,000 universities, and out of which, if we are identifying 100 universities to be identified as research universities, then what about other 900 universities? They will be teaching universities, which will deliver high quality education. That doesn't mean that if one is in the 100 universities, above 100 universities, the onus lies on me for quality education. But here, when I'm saying other 900 universities, there the teaching, it will be exclusively teaching. There will not be research. They may, where we are talking about the doctoral programs, the research programs, that will be part of the, that can be done by these research universities. Now, what is important is that the differentiation between the two is important. See, all the universities may try to do research, because if we are taking those 100 top universities where research has to be high quality, then the infrastructure of those universities have to be also high quality. Now, when I'm talking of infrastructure, in infrastructure also includes, it's not the latest softwares I have, the latest labs I have, the latest infrastructure in terms of the other things I have, but also the infrastructure in terms of the faculty I have. Because I need adequate resources is all right, but in resources, I need the quality of faculty which will be doing high quality research. So that is also very important. Now, how do I differentiate between, now in just teaching universities where research can be there, but it may not be that much as it is in the research universities. So in that case, that is why they have made it that if you have to enter such universities, you can have the NET qualification and then you can enter for the faculty. But for high research universities, you have to have research, you have to have publications with it. But does that mean one who has entered a college or a teaching college or teaching university, college university or university, does that mean that there is no scope for one who wants to enter that university but if he upgrades himself with publications, so there is he can move on to the higher level of the university. So there is scope for both one who's entering the teaching university, the teaching college, and one who's entering the research universities. For research entry into the research universities, one, the faculty needs to be, of course, he has to be himself a doctorate, but besides that, he has to be a good researcher because he has to orient the people. The onus lies on him to have the people to orient the young people to change their mindset. And those people who are in the teaching colleges, They have to deliver quality education, but does that mean they cannot move on to research universities? Yes, they can move, but then they have to upgrade themselves. Upgrading in terms of, research, upgrading in terms of the publications, upgrading in terms of developing a flair for research. Now, keeping all NEP in mind, finally, what do we draw? We draw that the present, the upcoming challenge for all of us as faculty members is, number one, that we have to do research. We have come with the research projects. We have the facilities which have been extended under, earlier also there were, but now it has not remained rigid. The system has, it's not that you can only apply to DST, but then you have NRF, which is giving grants, which is funding to the projects irrespective of the discipline. You have to have, a flair for research. You have to keep on publishing, but publishing in peer-reviewed journals. You have to publish in UGC care journals, Scopus Index journals. It is not publishing for the sake of just publishing. You have to be careful about where you are publishing. And if you are publishing at the right place, only then it is going to be disseminated. It's only going to be disseminated among the academicians. It is only going to be disseminated among the right people. Therefore, one has to be cautious while publishing. Another thing, as faculty members, to develop the future generation with a research mindset, the onus lies on us. So we have to inculcate the skill of critical thinking among our people, among our students, so that the inquisitiveness to do the research, the inquisitiveness to go in for something which nobody has done so far, something where you call the innovation comes in picture, that onus lies on us. So therefore, we need to first upgrade ourselves, and only then we can help the, help or fulfill, accomplish the responsibility that is laid on our shoulders as faculty members. Now, India has, as I said in the beginning, has traditionally taken the path of creating some specialized institutions like engineering, medicine, law, social sciences. Now, where today we talk of IITs, IIMs, but as such, we don't have any research university. But these research universities have to be multidisciplinary. Now, the reason being that in this world, the modern world, the challenges are also multidisciplinary. So therefore, high quality innovation and research requires institutions to have multiple disciplines in the same university. See, another point, that the universities, as we call the universities have to be multidisciplinary. For instance, in our university, what we have been doing, we are multidisciplinary. And that is why we are able to offer courses from disciplines to our students. That's why we have say for engineering student, the Institute of Social Sciences is providing subjects, the Institution of Fine Arts is providing, Forensic Science is providing. So if you are making the students to develop holistically, if you are going to give input from different disciplines, the university itself has to be multidisciplinary. So for a research, and then also in our university, we are encouraging interdisciplinary research. Say we have people from textile, they are working with biotechnology. So there are interdisciplinary researches that they are being done. There is an architecture, they are working with management. There is architecture, they are working with computers. So what I'm trying to say, that for university to offer a holistic education to the students, they themselves need to be multidisciplinary. And for that, and if they have to be research intensive universities, then multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary research has to be encouraged. With these words, I stop here. If you have any question or if you have any query, we can just share.
Any question from the participants? Any questions from the participants? I guess, ma'am, there is no question in the chat box.
Okay.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for your deliberation and focusing on the NEP. Basically, the takeaway of today's session is that as a faculty, we are facing the biggest challenge. Number one is we have to do a research and came up with some research projects. And secondly, we have to have some publications in some reputed journal like UGC and SCI journals. Third thing is we need to inculcate skills and critical thinking among the faculty members and the students, and at the same time we need to upgrade ourselves in terms of innovation and the research. With this, we finish our first session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your deliberation, and we will meet again at 2 p.m. for the second session. And the topic of the second session, post-lunch session, is student engagement strategies for effective online learning. So we are meeting again at 2 p.m. and the resource person will be Dr. G. Mathili. She is the Deputy Director from Indira Gandhi National Open University. So thank you everyone. We are meeting again at 2 p.m. for the post-lunch session.